Hello, Professor Aubrey. This is Jason at the library, just following up on your inquiry. Um, the issue with your search involves finding citations prior to 1975. So, if you were to look at Web of Science and see all of the indexes that are contained within Web of Science, you will see this is what Web of Science represents. And here, Art and Humanity Science Index, you can see it goes from 1975 to the present. So we're not being covered for anything prior to 1975. This arguably fits the history of citation analysis. Citation analysis really picked up in the 50s and 60s, and it started with citation analysis of scientific literature. So presumably you should get better coverage of science citations in the 50s and 60s, but then the humanities citations analysis, as we can see from the kind of the history presented here, didn't really pick up until the middle of the 1970s. So there is no formal citation index that represents work before 1975. So to identify those citations and find those citations, you're going to have to do some of that work yourself, and you're going to have to kind of do your own citation collection, your own citation investigation. Speaking with my colleagues here at the library, the best solution, the best workflow we can come up with is, and I apologize if you know and you use this already, but would involve using Zotero, which is free software you can download and put onto your computer. You need to put Zotero on your computer, but then also you want to put the Chrome extension on your browser as well. It might be available in other browsers. I apologize if I didn't investigate to see if there's I'm pretty sure there's a Firefox extension as well. So you'd want to put this on your browser too. You can see it's already installed for me, so it says removed from Chrome. Interacting with Zotero connector is this button right here, which I'm about to highlight and showcase for you. Now, the two resources for doing this prior to 1975 search that I had the most success with was JSTOR, which I'm going to demonstrate now. So I'm going to click here on JSTOR, and if I go to advanced search and I type in Lionel Trilling and I do a not Lionel Trilling and author, and I go down here for the date range, and we'll do 1940 to 1975. Okay, and I'll click on Submit Advanced Research. You can see what I would say is potentially some useful results. Now, the problem, well, let me skip the first one real quick. Okay, right here. So you can see, sure enough, 1971, Lionel Trilling is being cited in a work not written by Lionel Trilling. In fact, it's Edward Said. What a workflow you could potentially adopt with Zotero is, if you would find something useful like this that looks like, oh no, I want to account for this citation, you could click on here and then right here, save to Zotero. I click on this, this has been saved, and if I were to go to Zotero, sure enough, here is my citation. So your workflow would involve oops, investigating these and seeing which do fit the criteria of a work not written by Lionel Trilling, but citing Lionel Trilling. Now, you are welcome to just click here, and you can see the folders there, and it will export all of these. But where this potentially gets difficult is that you have to investigate and see if, in fact, they are mentioning Lionel Trilling. Because with this search, and a lot of these, this is actually like a big like ongoing like professional frustration of mine as a professional librarian, is that database search tools are often kind of black boxy, and the databases themselves won't necessarily transparently submit how they are conducting their searches. So what could be going on here is that I'm searching for Lionel Trilling, but JSTOR is probably splitting this string and looking potentially for Lionel somewhere in the document and Trilling in the document. And you can see right here, Mr. Trilling. Now this probably is Lionel Trilling, but we would actually have to look at this article itself to verify that. And that's obviously like a lot of work, and maybe more work than you want to do. Now you could go back and redo the search with a phrase search. I'm going to do my not and do author, Lionel Trilling. Do the same publication date. All right, submit advanced search. Yeah, did that? And this, you're potentially guaranteed the fact that Lionel Trilling obviously is represented as a phrase. It is, and this is the another view of the Huckleberry Finn article that popped up in our earlier search. But you do run the risk maybe of Lionel Trilling like being represented as Trilling, L, just in a works cited page, and the author of the journal not explicitly identifying like Lionel space Trilling in their paper. So that's potentially a limitation with searching like this. But again, the involved workflow with doing this solution. But your work then would be like evaluating these articles and seeing if you can identify, things that are related for the criteria you're searching for. Now, the limitation with using JSTOR is that JSTOR does not exhaustively search every humanities journal and every humanities publication since 1975, which is why you probably want to do this process in tandem with Google Scholar. And if you were to search, you can see I have my history here. Lionel Trilling, in quotes, minus author Lionel Trilling. Sure enough, we should see sources where we have articles and resources written by someone other than Lionel Trilling, citing Lionel Trilling. And this also is integrated with Zotero. So I could click on this folder here, and this will export all the documents, or I'm going to try to use something other than here. Let me click on this. This is other than JSTOR. And I get the individual citation export feature here, and it's been exported to Zotero, and I go here, and now I have two citations. And this is why Zotero is potentially useful, and that it can kind of like bring together the work that you're doing across different databases. And I poked around with some other databases, but I did have the most success with JSTOR and Google Scholar. And while Google Scholar is, again, like sometimes a frustrating like black box, it is pretty exhaustive, and hopefully could potentially give you the types of sources you're looking for. Now, the great thing with Zotero is that you could then highlight these resources, right mouse click, and I believe this is it. Generate bibliography from items. We'll just choose APA. And this creates, let me do this. Bibliography. This creates an RTF file. I'm going to do this on my desktop. And desktop, here we go. And there we go. We have the our working bibliography created for us. So hopefully that's potentially workable for you, and you could get some insight and some use for that. But this is the best solution we can come up with for identifying works before 1975. This type of work, this citation analysis, is very informed and can have like a strict methodology. We do have a librarian on staff who can give some consultations on citation analysis, but systemic reviews, but there is like a very strict process involved with creating like a formal, strict methodology, systemic review that we don't necessarily strictly offer. But if what I'm offering you is not what you need, I can refer you to him and you can consult with him. Okay, I hope this potentially offers you some guidance and gives you some sort of start with your work.